Hi guys, this video is brought to you by outtalk.co.uk for your post, pre-match and Sheffield Wednesday discussions with fellow Wednesdayites.
Hi guys and welcome to the Sheffield Wednesday season review. Now, I would have normally had this up by now, but I hadn't had a chance to do it. So it was our 150th year season and we were hoping some big things were going to happen, some a match of some sort, but that never materialised. But Carlos stayed for another season. People were talking about, is he going to stay? He finally signed a new deal. We had the whole thing of bringing in some players. So Rhodes officially got announced as our player. We bought Boyd in. We got Vencio. We got Van Aken. We got Butterfield on loan and Winnall going the other way, which was a deal I didn't understand at all at the time and still don't to this day. And we didn't strengthening where we needed, which was defence and probably wingers. Now, August, we started the season, we lost to Preston and we looked very poor. We looked really unfit and just not with it. It's like we hadn't done a pre-season. We one game in and we got past Chesterfield in the knockout round and we lose to Bolton. But we weren't looking good in front of goal. We were looking very poor. We weren't looking clinical at all. Sing from last season was starting to creep in a little bit. Now, we got 2 wins in September, but got thrashed 4-2 at home to Sheffield United, and that's just not acceptable. And you were looking at this and going, okay, what's happened here? Why are we coming to this game so bluntly? And there was started to feel like the players weren't working hard for Carlos already. And you can say all the injuries we had and stuff were starting to mount up. Now, we lose Fortieri on a long-term knee injury. In October, we won two games, a win against Leeds, but only won 2 games. And we weren't being able to, we were being able to go, but we weren't able to hang on in the end. We were having these games where we were drawing too many, or when it would be, they'd go, and then we'd only just start playing. We wouldn't actually start playing until we went behind. And it was a really weird feeling. In November, we win. We get 6 points with 1 win and the rest being draws. But like I said, the injuries start to pile up. Hooper, Fletcher, Lee, Bannon, Abdi, Fez, so much more, Westwood, start to really pile up. And we were poor in front of goal. And really poor. People were calling for Carlos's head and so many excuses and nothing really saying what was the reason. He did say, I'll give you the reason why in November we only have 5 shots on target. 5. For the entire of November, 5 shots on target. That was it. And you'll find out why we didn't actually get that reason from Carlos. We won 1 single game in December and started to look near the drop of the championship and then the playoffs. After the middle of the game on Christmas Eve with the news that Carlos and the club had decided to separate, the awful phrase by mutual consent got used instead of one resigned or you're sacked. Bullen got a win on Boxing Day versus Forest, but there was not a lot of thinking, is he going to get the job till the end of the season? But there were names thrown into the hat like former England manager Steve McLaren and also Big Sam. Now, Carlos left and pretty much I think by the Monday he had a new job. He was at Swansea. So he had been linked with Swansea before. People are now starting to think, has this already been talked about? Has he been approached? And he did say when he was at Swansea he got approached in 2015, I want to say. He got approached and got talked to by him. And that's not the kind of thing you want to hear. A former manager saying that when he was at your club that he nearly went then. So it's interesting to see what happened. But we got more draws and a loss to Burton in January. A draw at Carlisle that wasn't great in the cup because it's Carlisle United. No disrespect to them, but we should be beating teams like that. But this is when we find out that Catherine Mertens are coming from Charlton. Some people were not happy with her getting appointed because of what she did at Charlton. But we get a manager in called Josh Lukai. He's got great managerial record in Germany, the Dutchman. And one of the big ones was when he was at Hertha Berlin. They broke the record points in Bundesliga too. He took the job at FB Stuttgart and on May the 26th, resigned on September 2016. May 20. And conflict with the chairman. And so he was out of work since then until he came to us. He's our 33rd manager. His first game in charge was the Steel City Derby. So talk about going in front of the final line. And he got a draw in that game. He got a really good draw. We win the replay against Carlisle. We draw with Cardiff, which now looking at it seems a great result considering they went up to the Premiership this season. And we get another win in the Cup versus Reading. But it was still more draws. February was a hard month. Lost to Birmingham with similar position as us. Drew with Barnsley. We get a win against Derby. And then we get Swansea in the FA Cup. So Carlos comes back to Hillsborough. We get a 0-0 draw. He got a good reception, to be fair. But we then... two back-to-back league defeats. The Villa one was the hardest one because we were 2-0 up at half-time and lost 4-2. And we lose the replay to Swansea. March, first game in March is a massive 4-0 loss to Bristol City. It was just poor. We were just poor in that game. And you were starting to look at how we were doing and what was going to happen. And Josh Lukai turned around. I'd never seen an injury-ridden squad like this before. And players were turning around and saying how the training is a bit different and you feel like you're not going to get as much injury. And he's not going to risk players if they're not fully fit. The one thing Carlos did, they might be back one game and he'd play them and then they'd be out for another 3 months because they got injured because they're not fully rested. He wasn't willing to do that. We lose to Ipswich and get a draw versus Bolton. We start to pick up some form with Zhao and Newhugh. And we're starting to come into good form. You see the likes of Bannon coming back and Fez is close to coming in. And we're seeing that what could be next season. We beat Leeds in the snow with a Newhugh late winner, and the Preston game we win 4-1 with Fez getting on the score sheet and Newhugh scoring a worldie. And we were starting to get a little bit of form, thinking we could do something here. In April, we beat Sunderland 3-1, and in that game we were lucky that we didn't get a pen against us because it was a clear foul via Bannon. But then we get beat by Fulham, hammered by QPR, absolutely hammered. And then we come up against Hull, who were in cracking form. I think they had a 4 and a 5-odd win in their last 2 games. So they had like 9 goals in 2 games in a sense. And we managed to actually win that game 1-0. And we get a 3-0 win against Reading with Fez getting a double. And we get a draw at Wolves. And we hung on in that game. But a draw against Wolves, who go up, is a really good result. And they have been really good this season. Now we come to May, now the last game of the season, and we do something that we've not done since 2000 at home. We score a hat-trick, and it's something we've not done since, I think, 2010, I could be wrong, but since Neil Mellor had done. And Newhugh gets the hat-trick. We win this game 5-1. Yeah, 5-1. Newhugh, Fez and Viancio get on the score sheet, and we were looking good. The only thing that would have made it better would be a clean sheet. Great way to end the season, and the first time in a long time where we're using youth players, and it seemed to work in. Now, our pre-season this year, we are staying in the UK. I completely agree with this. The last couple of times while we've been in Portugal, there have been talks where there've been too much player fan in kind of thing, and there've been reports of it's just not worked at times, and this is right, they need to get their fitness up because we cannot start the season like last season with Preston and being unfit. Now, It'll be interesting to see what happens, but let's all just enjoy the World Cup, and let's see for the fixture list to come in and see what player come in as well. Now, we all know that the transfer market this year is opening early and shutting early, so you've got to get your deals done fast. But by the sounds of it, it sounds like we're going to be doing a lot more stuff with youth, and there's a lot of youth team players who have signed new deals or signed first-time pro contracts. Now, Josh Luke, seems to like youth, and I agree with this. What's the point of having a youth team if you're never going to get promoted to the first team? So let's have a look and see what happens next season. It could be very interesting. He's got the players who had no confidence under Carlos to have confidence again. New Hugh signing that new deal is fantastic. And you just think, what could he do with someone like the likes of Rhodes? Now, there's a rumour going around that Rhodes could possibly go to Norwich on loan. I don't want to have another situation where we send a player on loan to a championship rival and he starts scoring. And because we had that with Winnall, and Winnall's going to come back, so we're going to find out what's going to happen with him, because he is, in a sense, edging towards wanting a move to Derby. He made that very clear, but it's all if they've got the budget, because we're going to want a bit of money for him, let's be honest. And because he's a championship goal scorer, he's proven goal scorer. I just don't know why under Carlos at times he didn't get the full crack of the whip, but he did have that big argument with Fortieri. If he does come in, they're going to have to get sat down and see if we can get that put under the bridge and then be adults and just let that go. But it'll be interesting to see what happens, and hopefully we'll have a good season next season. Because this year, for 150th, it wasn't a great season, but it got better towards the end. But let's just enjoy the World Cup, and I'll see you in the next one.
Don't forget to have your say at outtalk.co.uk after the match.